Hey guys, just doing a little bit of a different video today. Just going to talk about the ROG Ally a bit. I'm sure most of you know that the Ally was announced officially with the release date and price and all that stuff yesterday. They had their little keynote thing. I watched it. It wasn't really that great in my opinion. The first like 5 minutes was this corpo sizzle reel of handhelds in the past and where they are now and how they're hobbled by 720p and this and that, and but they didn't really get into performance. They just said, "Oh yeah, now we have this 1080p 120 hertz gaming console." Blah 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 blah. So take that for what you will. But the reviews are out now, so whether on YouTube or printed reviews, whatever. So I've just kind of gone through a bunch of them, found kind of the most relevant ones. So I mean, The Verge isn't everybody's favorite, obviously, but they do give some performance numbers here. So we see Steam Deck on the left column here. So Cyberpunk's running 39 FPS. Now they don't say, or sorry, these are all 720p low for every game except for Elden Ring, where they do specify that they did 720, and then when they did the turbo mode and docked mode and all that, they kicked it up to 1080, all that. But otherwise, it's 720p low. So Steam Deck's getting 39 FPS average. The Ally in performance mode, so that's running in 15 watts, that's getting 48 FPS average. Ally in turbo mode, which is the handheld mode, that runs at up to 25 watts, I believe. And then turbo on AC is up to 30 watts. Might be 35, I think I saw somewhere that you might be able to get it up to if you go into the actual settings. But I think the default settings is 30 watts from what I've read. But anyway, so you can see like the obvious performance gains that the Ally has in its various modes over the Steam Deck, right? Obviously, in the silent mode, that's the 9 watt mode, I believe, or 10 watt, give or take. I can't remember the exact number for it, but obviously that's going to hobble your performance. And from what we've seen, basically anything below 15 watts or 10 watts thereabouts, the Steam Deck is likely going to pull ahead of everything else. The Steam Deck is still the low power kind of champion in that regard. So you can see here, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, again, like sizable increase from 49 to 65, and that's just in the regular 15 watt mode. So these are kind of the two main, the Ally Performance mode is really what you're going to be wanting to kind of go for. You can go and set your own custom TDPs as well. What I will likely do is set up a custom TDP for 18 watts, maybe 17 to 18 watts, just to give it that little extra boost and not destroy your battery life as opposed to like the 25 watt mode, right? But regardless, even in the 15 watt range, you can see that you're getting decent gains over the Steam Deck, more so in other games versus, say, like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, you're not getting that much. Elden Ring, you're getting a 5 FPS more. But as you kick it up and whatever, you can get more. So, yeah, that's kind of the Verge numbers that I was looking at. Everyone seems to kind of have the same consensus, though, is that, oh, yeah, it's amazing, it's great, it's powerful, it's better than the Steam Deck, but the battery life isn't that great. So you can get maybe an hour to an hour and a half, depending on what mode you're in. If you want to draw, like right here, it says, it means they can run up to 40 watts for 1 hour or 5 watts for 8 hours. So that's kind of your range, right? So again, you're going to want to be playing with the TDPs probably a little bit more so than you may have with the Steam Deck, just because you have that higher range, right? So if you're running, say, Last of Us or Jedi Survivor or something, maybe you want to kick it up to 18 watts in handheld mode, and you're okay with getting potentially an hour to an hour and a half of gameplay if you're just playing a real quick game, right? But if you're going to play, obviously, a more laid-back game, then you can drop the TDP power range down, right? So it's obviously battery technology, you can't really change the physics of that just yet, right? There is technology coming with the gallium nitrate and all that stuff, but again, it's the same size battery as the Steam Deck, so expect similar to honestly worse performance from what I've been reading. Here's a bit of the Armory Crate SE. Again, people are saying that the app itself is fairly decent, although there is some kind of early bugs with it. So you can control the game controls like you can with Steam. So you can put in your own controls, however you want to set them up and everything. So you can see here you can configure control mode, the embedded controls, all that stuff. So it'll obviously be kind of like the Ally's version of the quick access menu, right? They have the little quick access menu to bring it all up to have the FPS limiters and resolutions and all that stuff anyway. And obviously it will mature over time. I think it kind of looks a little bit janky in this state, but again, it's kind of the first version of it, right? I do expect this to get better over time, and hopefully with the rumors of Microsoft working on a handheld version or a handheld mode for Windows, maybe this kind of gives them the kickstart that they needed, because honestly, they had the Microsoft representative there from, I believe, the Xbox division, but still, they didn't really comment at all about how, other than being able to play all your games through Windows with no compatibility issues, they didn't really say, well, this is why Windows is better than SteamOS, or this is the improvements that we've made. They didn't really make any improvements themselves. So I believe there's going to be a lot of community kind of things once this comes out, much like the Steam Deck running Windows. So people are probably going to be able to get handheld companion or even Steam Deck tools or something along those lines, or create their own tool even that will work with this, I'm sure. Just give it some time. Honestly, probably within a few months there will be something out, I'm sure, from somebody or some sort of compatibility. And on the flip side, I'm sure people will be trying to run SteamOS on this thing too. So that'll be something to watch out for as well. Obviously, the support with that won't be as slick as a Steam Deck, right? So, but take that for what you will. Now, finally, for the last kind of review that I want to show off here, this is from Notebook Check. And this is one of the more in-depth reviews that I could find. So they go as far as to test like the SD card reader speeds and everything. So you can see here with the testing the same SD card versus the Steam Deck and on the ROG Ally. So you're getting read write or sorry, this is the copy speed. Sorry. So this is the write speed. So they're getting 132 megabits per second, and Steam Deck was only getting 42. So that will be a nice boost, I think, for a lot of people, because I can attest that, yes, the Steam Deck SD card reader is pretty slow by today's standards. So that should be a pretty big boost as well. They go over like the networking speeds and all that too. Yeah, like if you really want a real in-depth review of it, they do the teardowns, they do all the operating system, they talk about the display panel. So you can see the backlight bleed here, how that looks. It's honestly, it doesn't look too bad in my opinion. It's still an LCD panel, obviously, but I've seen worse, and it does look a little bit better than the Steam Decks, if I'm honest. But yeah, so they do the comparisons, they do the sRGB coverage, Adobe RGB, all that stuff. I don't necessarily care about that, and I'm sure 99% of the people buying the thing don't care about that, but it's just nice to know, right? They go into the display response times. I believe in the Linus review, they said that they advertised a 6 millisecond or something response time, but it came in actually lower than. But yeah, you can see here, they have the screen flickering. There was no screen flickering detected with the PWM. That's switching with the refresh rate screen. And then they get into performance. Like, yeah, if you really, really want the most kind of in-depth review, highly recommend checking this one out. And I'll leave links to all my sources and everything in the description below. But yeah, so you can see here, like, here's the CPU performance. So here's a laptop with an integrated processor as well, 7940HS, and it's coming in not too far behind that. So, and then there's the GPD WinMax 2 with the Intel variant, the 1260p. That's coming in at 52 points. The GPD Win 4 is coming at 60 points with the 6800U. So, yeah, the Ally is a fairly potent machine, I would say. But yeah, other than that, They go into the dry performance ratings. What else? Is there anything interesting here? Blender ratings. They do game testing near at the bottom too. So here's their game benchmarks that they got. So GTA 5, Witcher 3, Dota, all that stuff. So here's their FPS ranges here. So yeah, fairly decent performance, and that's in the turbo mode there. And then here's the performance numbers, so you can see the comparison. So, for instance, Hogwarts Legacy on low is running 23.4 average, whereas in turbo mode it's 37.8. So it's a pretty sizable increase. Cyberpunk, same thing. It's running 38.6, and it's running 27.7. Now, they don't mention outright what settings they were using or anything like that. But I can assume that they're probably running it at 1080p, and probably with higher settings, given that the Cyberpunk is only running at 38 FPS. Or sorry, yeah, I'm an idiot. They have all of the graphics ratings here. Sorry, I'm a doof. But I assume it's running in 1080p then, because we saw the higher numbers obviously with it running 720p in one of the other reviews. So take it from what you for what you will. And then finally, I just wanted to show off that Fanatical is having a May sale as well, and not specifically to Steam Deck games, but on Fanatical, if you type in Steam Deck and then click on all Steam Deck games, it'll bring you to this page here, and you can search by verified and playable specifically. So they have flash deals right now. So flash deal for Hi-Fi Rush. It ends in an hour and a half, unfortunately, but it's 28% off, $28 Canadian. I don't know what it is US, but yeah, so you can just go to the May Madness. Here's all their flash deals anyway. But yeah, it's just super convenient if you really want to just look for Steam Deck verified or playable games. And yeah, you can get some decent stuff on sale. They got RE4, 15% off, Skywalker Saga, 34. Dying Light 2, that's a good game, $33. I haven't played that on the Steam Deck, but I'm sure it works pretty okay. Monster Hunter Rise, again, I haven't played that on the Steam Deck, but that's a really good game. Skyrim, I'm sure you probably have 10 copies of that already. Metro Exodus, $8, not bad. Mad Max, great game, $5. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys that there was a kind of sale going on, so... I believe there was one game on here that I was going to get that I wanted to show you guys. The Warhammer 40k bolt gun. This game looks pretty cool. I'll just play a little bit of the trailer here for you. But yeah, it's pre-order right now. Comes out the end of May, I believe, but $17. Or 17% off, sorry. Yeah, it's kind of like an old like arcade Doom style shooter, but Warhammer. So... yeah, it looks pretty good. Should be pretty good on the Steam Deck, I think. But yeah, so that'll do it for today. Hopefully you guys have a good one.